Ooh, this is a good one for me. I'm not gonna lie.
You love that
So,
Would we ever consider working in America?
No.
Personally,
No.
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 I would not consider working in America because I don't want to get shot.
Oh God, categorically.
No.
No. Sorry, no, I'm a straight no to that.
I would not consider working in America.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel too emotionally attached to the NHS now. Yeah. That sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah, I would. I'd consider working and then I'd say no, but
Maybe now that Trump's gone, potentially. God, I've not really thought about this before, have you? I wouldn't.
I refuse to step foot on that unholy land.
Yeah. I think our attitudes towards healthcare are quite a bit different.
Nothing appeals to me about that place.
I just think it's completely different medicine. Like, we're so lucky to have the NHS, and our thinking is how can we help this person, no matter if they're paying or not, they need help, and how can we do this for them in the cheapest way. In America, it's like, treat them if they can pay for it, and
That
that's
concept
just
is
bizarre.
wild, isn't
Yeah.
it?
The NHS is great. My mum's a GP, so I grew up with the NHS. And I find it a very strange concept having to pay for medical treatment. I don't know about you, but I think it's so taken for granted in this country that it's great. It's great that we can get, and that's exactly how it should be, that we could get free appointments and free healthcare.
I think the thing that really puts me off working in America is their healthcare system.
Yeah, it's just the system, isn't it?
First of all, the healthcare system, don't like that as well.
It's an awful healthcare system.
Not good healthcare
Private.
system. I do value the NHS and I've used it a lot myself. And the fact that anyone can walk in the doors and get the same treatment.
Yeah.
I like those values, to be fair.
It's nice here that we don't have to consider, is this treatment covered by the patient's insurance, because we are always acting in the patient's best interest, whether or not they may be able to theoretically afford it. That's not a consideration.
I feel like it also when you say it like that, it goes against the principles that we are taught to sort of run by.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to. I couldn't imagine not treating a patient because they can't.
Because they could go bankrupt.
Yeah, like that's not what healthcare is.
Yeah.
But to me, healthcare is something that's accessible to everyone, and I think that's something that the NHS provides, and something that I feel quite proud to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like the NHS and the fact that we don't have to pay when we're at the hospital. We can just get treated. You can just treat all your patients. Really is something that I don't know if I'd be able to go from being able to offer all your patients all the treatment to them being like, you haven't got insurance. No.
Yeah.
I know that I said that if you are thinking about working in America, you've got to be aware you're going to be in a position where someone needs treatment and they might not be able to pay for it, so you therefore cannot give it to them.
Yeah.
And that's a hard decision.
Yeah, I think you have to be aware of what kind of system you're participating in, I'll say, yeah.
I watched this video on Facebook or something a while back, and it was talking about the prices that people have to pay, and I think it was something crazy, the average is 10 to 30 grand just to have a baby. In the UK you don't have to pay anything, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that would be the hardest thing for me, is the fact that actually there are some patients who might not be able to get the absolute best treatments because of the insurance plans that they're on. But equally, I think we sometimes hear of the absolute worst examples of, some patients being turned away from hospitals.
when you hear stories of people dying because they can't afford their insulin, or their
inhalers and stuff, and just having to choose between medications and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's quite upsetting to be honest, and wouldn't really want to work in that environment.
But in fact, there are actually a fair few hospitals in the States that provide healthcare services for people without insurance. You've got Obamacare, Medicaid, I think, is another program set up by the US government to ensure that there is a basic level of, service provision to patients in America. So I don't think it's necessarily as bad as we can sometimes make it out to be.
Yeah, I think it's weighing up the not moral side of it, but how you feel about that, and because everyone has different opinions on that, obviously, and then the money side of things, because obviously if something's privatised, like the fact that their health system's privatised, there is far more money there, and that's just fact, isn't it? Like there's a lot of money there, but I don't know, I like it here. I'm a home bird. I don't think I would go that far away from home. Belfast to Liverpool's far enough for me. My mum would have a mental breakdown if I went to America. I would consider maybe doing a year somewhere, like Australia, which is even farther, but Australia or America or something for a year. You can do an F3 year and you can locum and stuff where you work in different hospitals to get a bit of money, so I was thinking I would maybe go abroad for that, but maybe not necessarily America for me. I would go to Australia or New Zealand.
Yes, me
That's
too.
a big yes, but not America.
Yeah, the NHS, man. Yeah, I just feel bad knowing that I was a doctor in America and that there was people who couldn't afford to come to me. Like, I'd want to work for free because I feel so bad.
Probably not consider working in America. I love the NHS. The NHS has loved us, so it's nice to put something back in it.
I was born with the NHS.
Yeah.
I shall die by it.
The NHS pays for a lot of our degree, and I just feel like we owe it to them to just stay here.
Yeah.
So I just don't think I would go.
Okay, to be honest, no, I don't think we owe the NHS anything. I think the NHS is great. It's the place that's training us, and it's where we studied in the UK. But I also think that if you don't necessarily have any ties to the UK, and it's actually okay to leave and to go elsewhere. It's not uncommon practice, and I don't think that we should, as medical students in the UK, feel obliged to work in the NHS. If you have the idea to move elsewhere, that you should explore it. So I've been looking into studying for the US exams, looking at different places to do residency out in America, and just considering all career options, because I think it's ultimately about being a happy doctor, and if you're not going to be a happy doctor in the UK, you're probably not going to be the best doctor. So actually you should go where it's going to make you happy, and if it's elsewhere, then so be it.
Yeah, definitely, I'd say. If it wasn't America, definitely somewhere else in the world. Yeah, I'm definitely keen to work in different places. America, I wouldn't say is my number one on the list. I think I'd love to be one day to work in definitely third world places. Yeah, it is something that I'd love to do one day.
It's a hard process from what I've heard. You have to do the USMLE, which is some really hard exam. You have to pay £1,000 per part, like a go or something, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, USMLE. I've just done enough exams in my life. I've got so many more to do, and I can't be bothered revising for another exam.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got some statistics.
Okay.
This is cool.
Right.
Oh my God.
Is this going to be a stat that might change our mind now?
Oh God. Okay.
So a doctor's pay in the USA can be up to 3 times more on average. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I see that happening.
Yeah.
I would go to the US and work.
Oh, but I have heard the hours are like mental, like absolutely mental hours.
Well, we've just said no, we're not in it for the money, are we? So no, it does not change my mind.
Nah, I mean, tempting.
Told you, it's a good money maker, isn't it?
It's good money maker. That's quite good.
That's quite a good money maker.
Am I surprised about that? No, not really. Everything's over there private, so that's kind of what you expect in a private economy. Is it something which you should automatically have your eyes set on? No, absolutely not. You shouldn't just care about doing something like this for the money, and I feel like that's a big pothole that people fall into.
That doesn't change it for me.
No, I've sold.
You're all about the money over
No,
here.
I'm definitely not all about money.
No, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, actually, I disagree with that, because obviously above a certain amount of money, like for you to live comfortably, then it does buy happiness. But in the long term, like, you shouldn't be doing medicine for the money, because at the end of the day, it should be something that you enjoy, because you're going to literally put the rest of your life into it.
It is tempting, very tempting. But then doctors here still do get
a lot of money.
A decent
yeah,
amount of money.
I mean, I would say a consultant makes enough that I would want in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what you're looking for, I suppose.
Comfortable life easily on a doctor's salary here.
Yeah.
But that money in America is very tempting, I have to say.
So if I was earning 3 times more, I guess that would be nice.
And the risk of being sued as well, man, because it's...
Another thing I heard, there's literally lawyers running around in the hospital from door to door to the patients. Do you want to sue? Do you want to sue? Do you want to sue? Yeah.
Oh mate, stop that.
No hate to anyone that wants to do it, but like, I'm not that bothered about the salary. The salary here is like more than fine.
Yeah,
Like,
so definitely no.
I'm not going to struggle, am I?
No.
Right, we've got another stat for you guys. Training programs are shorter in the USA than the UK.
Is that true?
Well, I disagree with that because you have to do an undergrad before, you have to do a different degree, and then you have to do medicine.
We're quite well-rounded in the UK because you just get loads of different rotations.
F1, F2, you get the chance to experience specialities that you may not have had the experience to otherwise, and that might open so many more doors for you. So I think it's quite important to have the opportunity to work in different specialities.
It makes sense to do foundation training, do a bit of everything, explore what you want to do, because we might have an idea of what we like, but we won't actually know until we've tried it as a doctor. So it's really nice to have that time and have like rotations. And I'm always so impressed here, and you go on the ward and a consultant in one speciality knows so much about other areas as well. And I am impressed by that, and think it's safer probably.
Training programs being shorter.
It's a good fact to know.
It's a good fact to know.
I don't think I know what I want to do, so I don't want to be rushed into like...
No.
I think being a generalist has its perks.
Yeah, it has its perks. You know, if something happens on the street, if someone's like, is there a doctor about?
Yeah, and you've just been doing dermatology for the past like 8 years, you'll be like, oh no, he doesn't have a skin lesion, what do I do?
I quite like the fact that we still have to stay quite general until we want to, as opposed to going straight into a specialty.
As someone who kind of knows exactly what they want to do, it does seem a little bit pointless that you go and do 2 years of foundation training when I could actually go straight to the surgical specialty I want to do and specialise in that sooner. I can get my career faster and I can be a consultant or a senior level doctor for a longer period of time. So I think there's kind of swings and roundabouts with the training model that we have in the UK. Whether I'd say it's better elsewhere, I don't know. I think it's just down to what you want from your programme.
No, it's important to be a generalist.
I
Everyone
know.
needs to be a generalist to a certain extent.
I feel like if you're a doctor with one speciality and you're really good at that, that's great. But what if a patient comes in with multiple problems and
most of the time they do.
Else?
Like most patients don't just have one solid like issue going on.
And if you treat people, not organ systems.
We always get told the holistic approach to being able to treat the whole body, and I feel like that should be a part of every single doctor's training, not just specifically, oh, I can only do this, and if I can't do it, then refer it to someone else.
Speciality training, the length of it all, it's all part of the journey, no? Do you know what I mean? Like,
enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Being a consultant's the end goal at the end of the day is good, but then you speak to a lot of them and they're like, oh, I spend too much time now as a manager. Like, I think I went into medicine clinical reasons, and I assume you did as well. I don't see myself as a manager really, do you know what I mean?
I think there is like a more relaxed kind of attitude towards reaching consultancy here, because people often take years out to do research. People take years out to have children.
There's no huge rush to sort of get to the top, and you've got to remember that at the end of the day, this is a job. And
you're in it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, this isn't your whole life.
What's the
like,
rush?
You need to have other things rather than just rushing through to be the best. I guess life's not just about that, I don't think.
Didn't know that actually.
I
didn't know that training programs in America were shorter.
I only know Grey's Anatomy. For all that sort of stuff, and that seemed long for them. But
they were in Grey's Anatomy for a while.
Yeah, they really watched them grow old in that.
You've got to stay somewhere that you feel ultimately supported, and you've got to stay somewhere that the training is going to be good for you as an individual and help you flourish to the maximum. And if that's not the NHS for you, then that's fine, I think.
Let's be honest, the NHS is underfunded and understaffed. And I think as a medical student, you need to kind of understand that that's the reality of the situation. When we become doctors, we are going to be overworked to a certain extent. There's been a lot of cuts to the NHS, so I understand people that don't want to work for the NHS or want to work abroad. I do understand it, but me personally, I've always wanted to give back to my community, so I wouldn't want to necessarily go private or work somewhere else, because then I wouldn't be serving my community that I grew up around. So that's personally me. I don't judge people that don't. So
I would not consider working in America because I think you can be a better doctor working here.
So I would not consider working in America because I've always just thought I was going to work for the NHS.
Yes, I would consider it, and I am considering it.
I definitely consider working in America, without a doubt.
I would consider working in America. At the moment though, it seems unlikely. I don't think I'd want to right now.
Ditto, yeah. I would consider going to America, but I don't think I will end up going. I think I'm probably committed to being here for the long term.
I would not consider working in America because I'm too much of a home bird.
I would consider it, but I think there are significant pros and cons that I would have to weigh up and just see how I feel as I go through my training, I guess. But yeah, I'd consider it.
I would not consider working in America.
I would not consider working in America.
I would not consider working in America.
I would consider working in America.
I would consider working in America.
I would not consider working in America.
Yeah, I would not consider working in America.